So actually, I received a request from someone yesterday that he was not able to run .pyc file. Yeah, I don't remember his name. He requested me, sir, I don't know how to run the PYC file. So just give me 30 seconds. So let me revise that. If we do have a PYC file, how we can run that? That's very easy. As we have installed the Python on our system, the PVM is already installed in our system. Okay. So the call the PVM is directly, we can use the Python interpreter. Don't worry about that. Okay. So how we can do that? Suppose I have on my desktop a PYC file inside this PyCache folder. Okay, this is the PYC file which is available. Let me just copy it, rename and copy. This is the PYC file which is available here, and I want to run it. Okay, so what is the way to go? Just remember it is on the desktop, and within the desktop there is a folder PyCache. Inside that it is available. So let me open the command prompt once again, and let me go to first of all desktop. So I'm typing cd desktop. So right now, once I type this, I've moved to the desktop. Now I need to go to this folder. The folder name is underscore PyCache underscore. So again, same way, cd underscore PyCache underscore. So I've reached, once I press this, I've reached inside this folder. Okay, now I'm inside this folder. Now I can access directly. So I will type Python. Just I'm typing the Python itself means that I'm calling the interpreter. And PVM consists of what? PVM itself consists of interpreter only. Okay, so once I type Python, it is understood that Python interpreter will be called. Okay, so I can type my file name. I just control V here, and the file name extension is .pyc. That's it. Okay, I'm just pasting it, and once I run it, I can see my bytecode. Let me run it. Sorry, not bytecode. I'm directly running the PYC file. So I'm not use the module disk. So directly we can see the output, same output this is giving as earlier program was given. Let me see once again. Let me exit from this. And this is the file test.py. Let me open it with Notepad so that you can understand things better. Notepad. So you can see I'm just trying to print hello world there. I'm just trying to print hello world there. So how we can run that? What happens behind the code? I'm using command prompt. It's on the desktop, so I'm going to cd desktop. Okay. Once reached, the file is on the desktop only. That is test, right? This is the file test.py. But I open it with. So let me open it again. This file, and it has been saved as a notepad file. I have to save it as a .py file, right? So make it all files and make it test.py. Okay, ensure that it is all files and test.py. Only then it will work as a Python file. So I'm saving it. It is already exist. I think it is available there. Yes, I want to replace it. Perfectly fine. So it has been done. So I can call my Python compiler here directly, or either Python interpreter, and use the file name. What is the file name? File name is test.py. Okay, let me press enter, and you can see directly it showed me hello world. But what has happened behind the code, everyone knows. First of all, a Python compiler has been called, which has converted my Python file, that is high level language, into a bytecode, right? But it is not visible here. It all happens behind the hood. Okay, and then internally interpreter has been called, that is PVM has been called, and that converted that PYC file into your machine level language, and then it is executed, and that's why you are seeing that. Okay, but if you want to save the time, we can directly run our PYC file, because I told you why PYC files are normally created. If we are working in a project environment where the projects are module based, means we have divided entire project into different modules. I am working on a different module, you people are working on a different module, and later on work is finished, you want to show me your work, and I want to show you your work. I want to check yours work, but that means we want to mutually see each other, what each other has done. We want to check our output. So one way is to share the py file, that is Python file only, and directly compile it from beginning, but it will take time. You can understand that thing, because what process is going to happen? We are going to use Python compiler first of all, which is going to convert my Python file into bytecode, and then bytecode will be converted into the your machine level language. But if we are sharing PYC file, then what happens? We don't have to use that Python compiler. Already time is saved. Already your time will be saved, because you are sharing PYC file. PYC means Python compiled files. So one step will be skipped. In smaller programs like 1 line, 2 line, 10 line, 15 lines, it may not be visible, but if your program is 1,000 lines, the time will be definitely a factor. You can see easily directly running using Python test.py and directly running Python that PYC file. Obviously, that which will be having the lesser time of execution, .py file or .pyc file, which will have a lesser time of execution.
PYC, sir.
Yes, because one step has been skipped. Is it fine with everyone? Please tell me. Right?
Yes,
so if I run same thing again, I type Python, and this time I'm running PYC file. Okay, so I'm again Control V and typing PYC file. It will give me same output from that bytecode. From that bytecode, it will give me the same output. That is hello world. Sorry, what happened? Test.c Python 38 PYC file is not there. Okay, fine. It's my mistake. Can anybody tell me what is the mistake here? If you are observing my screen, yes, directory problem. Yeah, it is not at the desktop. It is inside the PyCache file. Remember, it is inside the PyCache file. So I have to go there. CD underscore PyCache underscore, right? Run. Now run. No problem with that. Okay. Yeah. Let's run this, and you can see the output now. Okay, same output you are getting. Either you are running Python test.py or you are running that file, PYC file, that is bytecode file. But difference is what? Which will be consuming less time? Understood is .pyc file. I hope the person who asked me that how to run the PYC file is not clear. Just use normal Python interpreter command before it. You will be able to run it. Just ensure that you are in the correct directory. I hope it is okay with everyone. That's especially the person who asked me for the same. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if somebody asks you in interviews, you are working on a project, okay, understand, please question properly. You are working on a project and you want to share your work with others, but at the same time, you want time to be saved. Then which kind of file you will share? Your answer will be?
PYC file.
Yes, PYC file. Remember that. Yes, that's very important. It's a PYC file. So exiting from this and let's move to our work. So I think we were studying variables, if I'm correct, everyone, right? We started just with the variables. So let's begin with the variables only. What variables can do, because variables are very important. So as I told you, what are variables? Variables in any programming language, if we talk about variables in any programming language, they are just a way to store your data inside the memory. They are just the way to store the data inside the memory. For example, if I'm taking a variable A and assigning the value 50, then what is happening behind the hood? Once I'm running this code cell, then actually what will happen? This 50 will be assigned in a memory location. This 50 will be stored in a memory location, and a label named as A will be assigned to that memory location. So wherever we need that 50 value, the 50 value corresponding to that memory location, there in that place, we can refer A. And the advantage of using variables is what? Suppose I have a big program, big program, where you're writing instruction S1, instruction S2, something like that. S1, yeah, sorry, I'm typing again, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, instruction. I'm just typing statements, right? S5, and suppose similarly S1000. Okay? And out of 1000 instructions, you are referring at 50 places or 60 places, same value 50. Same value 50 means instruction, you are using the value 50, referencing to the same memory location. In S3, you are referring location 50. In S5, you are location 50. And similarly, in other 497 places, you are referring 50. Suppose at some time, you want to replace this 50 by 30. Sometimes you want to replace this 50 by 30. Then what you have to do? You have to do it manually. If you are not using variables, I'm repeating, if you're not using variables, if you are using directly storing 50, then what you have to do, wherever 50 is there, you have to replace it by 30. Everywhere. Okay, so imagine how tedious your work becomes. Very difficult. But instead of that, if you use variables and instead of putting 50 here, if you assign its label, that is A, A, everywhere A. So what happens if somebody says change the value of 50 to be 30 only? So see, 50 is nothing but A. So just we have to change at one place and we have to make it 30 only. We have to make it 30 only. So once it is made 30, problem is solved. Automatically in everywhere, the A value will be referenced as 30. The biggest advantage of using variables, our life becomes very much easy. That's why people, your code looks very good, right? At the same time, your life becomes very much easy. You don't have to change it manually. Now, moving ahead. These are the things actually I think we have already covered in the class. Now, there are certain conventions, naming conventions of the variable. Remember this thing, please. Naming conventions of variables. Okay. So I'm clicking here, making it a heading. Okay. Inserting a cell below. Okay. So there are certain naming conventions of the variable. And what is the naming convention? Remember, there are certain naming conventions of the variables. What? A variable can consist of, so whenever we will be naming the variable, but if somebody is unmuted, please mute yourself. It's a request. Yeah. A variable can have alphabets. Okay. That is small a to small z, comma, capital A to capital Z, comma. Okay. It means we can have alphabets, small a to z to and capital A to Z, numbers. Okay. And only one special character. Remember, only one special character known as underscore. Only one special character you can have that is known as underscore. This is first rule. Means a variable can have alphabets, it can have numbers, and it can have only and only one special character. That is underscore. No other special character like at the rate, hash, you cannot have. You can only have underscore. Second rule. The second rule. Remember, a variable name, rather we can put here also variable name can have, right? That is better. A variable name cannot start with a number. Remember these rules. A variable name can have alphabets, A to Z, capital A to Z, numbers, and only one special character underscore. So we have four options. Use small a to Z, capital A to Z, numbers, and special character underscore. But remember, you can use any combination, but remember that your variable name cannot start with a number. If you are trying to do that, it will throw you an error. Okay, right? So what I'm doing, I'm making that as markdown and running this cell. So it is available as a markdown for me. Okay, so let's take an example. You can tell me, read the statements properly and tell me, is the variable name proper or not? I'm typing AGE. Tell me, is it acceptable variable name or not?
Yes,
Yes.
sir, acceptable.
Yes, very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm putting a value 10. Let's run it. Perfectly fine. I'm typing AGE equals to 20. It is acceptable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good, right? I'm typing AGE equals to 30. Acceptable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, very good, right? Next, I'm typing age underscore. See properly, age underscore 40. Acceptable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
very good, right? I'm using age 1 equal to 30. Acceptable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now I'm using underscore age equal to 30. Acceptable or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
sir.
Again,
Yes, sir.
again acceptable. Very good. Now I am using one age. Okay, one age or 10 age or 3 age, whatever. Suppose 2 age or 2 underscore age, whatever you want to put. Tell me it is acceptable or not.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right? Yes. Remember the rules. Remember the rules. It cannot start with the number. And same is for any identifier that you use in the Python. Any identifier, whether it is a function or any other thing else. Same rules apply. Okay. So 2 underscore age, if I try to run equal to 30, you can see immediately through an error. Invalid decimal literal. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
And remember, Python is a case sensitive language. I repeat once again. Let me type it here and make it as a markdown. Python is a case sensitive language. Python is a case sensitive language. So that means if we are typing age and we are typing age, both are different. Okay, both are different. I'm typing age and I'm typing age, one with all the small letters, one with the capital A. Both are same. Both are exactly same. Sorry, both are different. I'm writing age and capital H. Both are different because Python is case sensitive. So age and age are different because Python is a case sensitive language. Let me check this. Okay. So I'm running here. Age equals to 21. I'm typing here age equal to 30. Okay. I'm running both the cells together. And in beneath that, I'm printing the value of age. And I'm printing the value of age. Okay, as it's a case sensitive language, so this age is different and this age is different. Okay, so I'll see both the values. I hope it is clear. So Python is a case sensitive language. Remember that. Don't forget, Python is a case sensitive language. I hope it is clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? So ensure that what are the rules for the making variables. Remember, a variable can have alphabets, small and capital, numbers, and only one special character underscore. Other than that, it cannot have anything. And second thing, it cannot start with a number. Second, Python is a case sensitive language, so we have to be cautious. Please mute yourself. Let me mute it, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Remember that thing. Second, there are few good practices that you should follow. Remember all the time. What are those practices? The programmers normally write variables in the small letters. Most of the programmers, means 90% of the professional programmers, write these are good practice, not mandatory. I repeat, not mandatory, but it is a good practice that write your variable names in the small letters. It's a good practice. I repeat once again, it's a good practice to write variable names in small letters first. Okay. Second, it's preferred that the variable name should be meaningful. Let me tell you what. Suppose, okay, here I'm clearly indicating that I'm taking a variable age. I'm taking a variable age. Okay, clearly mentioning. But for sake of time, I want to save the time and type a is equal to 20. Okay, and this code is being shared to someone else. Will he be able to recognize what a actually means? Your code should be that much simple that if somebody reads it, he should be able to understand what you actually are referring to. So always, all the time, ensure that you give meaningful names to your variables. Is it fine? Is it okay with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Again, third very good practice. Suppose there are lots of age variables. You are asking the age of parents. Okay, you are asking the age of children's. you're asking the age of grandparents, something like that, then how will you recognize? Then of course, there should be some demarcation that we are able to identify. These are the age variable for any elderly people. This age is for any children, and this age for the grandchildren. Means two different things has to be combined. So if we use only age, we will not be able to recognize that in that particular scenario. That is entirely depends on the requirement. If you want to classify, for example, you want to classify the age group below 18 or above 18, okay, something like that, means minor or major, whatever you want to say. So you need two different words. So how to separate two different words, right? Age underscore, example, childs, so that if somebody needs reads it, they can understand. If space would have been allowed, then we could use age space child. But remember, space is a special character, which is not permitted in Python while you are using variables. While you are using variables, the space is not permitted. Okay, so mandatorily, if you want to separate those two words, if you write this one, does it look good? Age child? No, it doesn't look good. But if we use age underscore child, means use underscore to separate the words. As simple as that. Use underscore to separate the words. Now it look good. Okay, you can other way put age underscore parents. Okay, another one, age underscore grandparents. Yeah, grand P, whatever you want to write. These look more meaningful to you instead of using this way. Age child doesn't look good at all. Or just using age doesn't look good at all. So remember, these are the best practices which programmers used to follow. Is it fine with everyone? What are the good practices that we need to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'm moving ahead. Means we understand what are the rules for creating a variable and what are the some best practices while assigning the name of the variables we should follow. Next, what values, I repeat once again, what values a variable can hold or variable can point to. Because variable is what? Variable is just a label. Again, somebody is unmuted. What values a variable can point to, because variable is a label. Okay, point to. Okay, so what it can do, understand. Whatever data types which are possible in Python, everything it can point to. Whatever data types which are possible in the Python, it can point to. For example, if we talk about built-in primitive types, built-in primitive types, then in Python we have three built-in primitive types. One, the numbers. Number two, Boolean. And number three, your strings. These are three primitive types. There are others as well. You will see that list, string, bytes, byte array. With the time we will see that. Okay. For example, so whatever data types are possible, that can be stored in a variable. Okay. Here, for example, if we are taking built-in primitive types, so most of the time you will be using these three, but you can use others as well. For example, list can be stored. List. I will come to that. What is a list? For now, understand it's sort of a collection of elements. It's a collection of elements of different types you can store inside a list. Okay. So for now, understand built-in primitive types are what? Numbers, booleans, and strings. So let's come to that one by one. What happened? Okay, got it. So let me make it markdown. Done for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming here. I'm taking a variable. Let's say my variable. Just name is my. Okay, so it can have numbers. What kind of numbers it can have? It can have an integer. It can have an integer. Okay, int. It can have an integer. Run it. Yeah, it is stored 3. Perfectly fine. Other number, what it can have? It can have a floating point number. Let's say 3.2. Okay, so it's a floating point number. Floating point number. It can store. Other, It can store a complex number. For example, 3 plus 2j. Okay. So these are the three numbers it can store. Three numbers type: integer, floating point, and complex numbers. Easily it can store. Second one, move ahead. Booleans. If you are from a computer science background or you are from electronics background, you must have heard the word Boolean. Boolean means just two values. Just two values. And those values are nothing but true and false. True and false. Either it can store true or it can use false. Basically, these true or false are basically used when we are doing some conditional execution. For example, I want to run a piece of code depending upon condition is true or false. Okay, when a condition is true, it will return true. For example, let me show you. For example, I just write, let me take a equals to 2. Okay, a equals to 2. I run here, and beside that cell, okay, I just execute this cell, and beside that, I am running a statement known as a equals 2. Okay, this is assignment operator. This is an assignment operator, means the value 2 has been assigned to a, and this is a comparison operator. This is a comparison operator. Okay, so I'm running it. Let's see what value the cell 9 below the 19th returns. Can you see what it returned? Can you observe that? And I think you will be agreeing what is happening. You will be agreeing what is happening here. Right? So we can see that means these are the true and false value. When some condition is getting true, we will return true. If it is not, suppose I write here instead of 2, if I write 3 here, what has been stored inside the A? A has been storing 2. And if I'm running this cell, obviously this condition is not true. It should return false. Can you see that? Right? So this kind of statements will be used when we are using our conditional executions. Means depending upon the certain condition, I want to allow. For example, you log in on your system. Okay, you enter your username, you enter your password. So there is a system which checks for this particular username, the password is same or not. The password is matching or not. If they for what they do, they take your email, they go to the dictionary and check what is the password corresponding to this email. They pick that one, and whatever password you enter, they match them. They match them. If both matches, they give you the permission. Means true condition satisfied, you are allowed. If false condition means both passwords are not matching, you are not allowed. I hope you are clear about what do you mean by conditional execution. Those at least who are new to programming, who are learning any programming first time. Everyone, please tell me, is it fine or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can be honest. No issue with that. And you can be honest with me. If you want me to repeat, I can repeat. No problem. Okay. Now move further. So we can assign these true and false value also to my mind. For example, I'm writing true, but ensure that it's a case sensitive. So for true, the T should be capital. And it's a keyword. You can see it's turning to be green. Whenever we will be using the keywords, you will finding the green value. Okay. So my is equal to true. I can assign. It's assigned. Or I can assign false value. So again, F has to be capital. FALS. Okay. So these value it can store. Similarly, Boolean is done. Next is strings. And you are going to come, if you are going to work ever in natural language processing field, then definitely you are going to use strings a lot. For example, we go to the Google. Okay, you go to the Google, and on the Google, you are typing something. For example, I search Andrew NG. Andrew NG. Okay, so I mean typing something in a normal language. Okay, or suppose I'm doing here. I'm using this searching by any voice. Let me allow. Who is Andrew NG? Okay, so he told me right now. So what is this? I spoke to the computer in my natural language. right? So what it is, first of all, see, I spoke in English. Again, I'm speaking. Let me close it so you can see what is happening here. Okay, that's what's happening here. Nothing is there. I'm typing again. Who is Andrew NG? See, automatically it understands my natural language, converted that into a string. A string is what? A string is nothing but a characters, a single character or collection of characters. That is a string. String means what? A single character or a collection of characters. And those have no numerical significance. I repeat once again, strings have no numerical significance. Okay, is it fine? Okay, so whenever, suppose I'm using a Twitter sentiment analysis, Twitter regularly checks this thing, or Facebook regularly checks this thing, means what kind of text you are writing there, and you are writing in your English language or German language or Hindi language. So what they are using, they are using some softwares which are dealing with those strings that you have written over there, and according to that they are doing some kind of analysis. So if you are going to work in natural language processing anytime, topic modeling or sentiment analysis or product recommendation, anything sort of thing, where text is being used, you are using text to search here, especially in NLP field, right? So definitely string will not leave you behind. Okay, so very string is very easy. Understand what is a string. Suppose I'm using variable my, okay, and typing a string. How do we type a string in the Python? Understand please properly. How do we type a string in the Python? If we want to write string in one line only, if you want to string in one line only, you will use either single quotes or you will use double quotes. Okay, so whenever you want to write your string in single quotes, sorry, in single line, either use single quotes or use double quotes. Both are acceptable with the Python. But if you want to go to take your string to the multiple lines, in that case you have to use triple quotes, either single or double. Very much like we made the comment yesterday or day before yesterday, like this. If you want to take your string to the next line, okay. In normal cases, if you are writing some paragraphs or something, of course, your string will go to the multiple lines. Then you have to use these triple quotes, either double or single, doesn't matter. And when we are sticking to the single line, only single quote or double quote is sufficient. Example, I'm writing whatever you want to use, you can use. For example, I'm writing in double quotes, anything you can prefer. Okay, Python programming. Okay, so remember, how do we write a string? Either in single quotes or double quotes. You can also write same thing. Both will yield the same result. My equals to single quotes now. Python space program. Both are going to yield same result. No difference in them. Let me make a different name so that you can understand my underscore one, so that you can understand. Let me copy it. Control C. Let me run it so that we can understand, and let me run these cells. Okay, and let me print the value of both of these. So print is a function which will display whatever value you put inside. Suppose you put the variable name inside, so whatever value that variable is holding, that will come out of that your screen. It will show on your screen. Okay, and if you are putting string, then string will be printed. Then string will be printed as it is. If you have to show some sentence, for example, the result of my this is this. That means you want to show some text there. For example, I want to show. So first case, I want to show the value of my. That is what my is holding. Please show that. So run this. So it displayed what my is holding. My is holding Python program. Okay. Next, beside that, I want to write something. I want to write a string, a text. That what text? And whenever I'm writing text or a string, remember, I'll put single quotes or double quotes. So I'm writing this variable my. This variable my is holding or pointing to. You can say that also. Pointing to. Okay. Give some space. My string is done. After this, put a comma. and now give your variable name. What is my variable name? My underscore one example. Okay, I want to see what my variable one is understanding here. Okay, so I'm going here, I'm running this cell, shift plus enter. Can you see what it showed? Here, as it is, it copied to space, also it included, right? So everything is there, space, and after that, the value variable is holding, it printed here. Is it okay with everyone? Please tell me. And you can see, as I told you, either use double quotes or you use single quotes, the value will be same. So my is showing Python programming as it is. My underscore one is also showing Python programming as it is. Whatever we are putting here, this is just a string. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great, great. So let's move ahead. Everyone knows now how to write a string. Everyone knows single quotes, double quotes, triple quotes, if you want to go to the multiple line. Now moving ahead. Okay, understand. There is some problem. There is some problem here that you may encounter. Suppose I'm making a variable, let's say test. Okay, I'm taking a variable test, and the test I want to show in single quotes. Intentionally, I'm showing single quotes. Python, like this. I want to use apostrophe s. Okay, Python's class, right? So I use starting quote, I use ending quote, but I want to also put a apostrophe s, this one s, right? So it will give me an error. Why? Because how will this Python understand? Either this is a string termination quote or the special quotes that you have put it here, right or wrong? How will it recognize? It won't be able to recognize. It will immediately terminate here. Once it is terminated here, it's fine. But after that, you are writing some text characters here. It won't recognize what it is. It will throw me an error. See that? Can you see that? Invalid syntax. Invalid syntax. Now, how to deal with this kind of problem? There are two ways. One way, use this, Control C, Control V. Again, I'm using, instead of using single quotes, use double quotes. Your problem will be solved, right? Because this is your beginning quote, this is your ending quote. What is in between? Doesn't matter. Let's run this. It will be successfully executed, and you can see its value also. Print test. Is it fine?
Yes.
Right? These are the problems you are going to face while you are writing strings first time. That's what I'm telling you. Remember that these are the mistakes normally people can. I'm writing everything fine. Why it is doing so? Remember properly. Okay, it may happen in opposite case as well. For example, I am writing I want to put double quote somewhere. Okay, same thing. Suppose I copied it. Okay, and I want to put double quote here. Then can I do? Same problem again persisted. So how can we solve this? Please tell me. How can I solve this?
By taking single quote or triple quote.
Yes, very good. Very good. Okay, very good. You got an idea. Okay, I'm using, for example, a single quote here. The problem is solved. Any quote which can become your starting and end. It will work fine. Is it fine with everyone? Right? There is one more way.
Yeah.
There is one more way. Means if you want to use a code which is already available in the codes, then use the opposite, different type. Automatically your problem will be solved. There is one more way to deal with that. Let's go to that by using known as escape sequence or escape characters. Escape character. What is that? Let's come to that. We make it a comment. Same problem we can solve here. How? I'm using this, suppose. Same thing I'm copying and paste here. What you can do here, before this quote, put a slash like this. Before this quote, put a slash. This slash is known as escape character. This slash is known as escape character, and what it tells the Python interpreter, whatever coming after me, don't consider its special meaning. Are you getting my point? Otherwise, what's happening here? This one here is a special meaning of what? It has a special meaning of terminate the string, right or wrong? In this context, if we don't put this, if we are using single quotes only, if at the beginning we found a single quote, then automatically whenever next single quote is coming, it has a meaning that terminate the string is getting completed, right or wrong? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we want to make interpreter feel no, don't consider as a terminating string character. So what we need to do, just put a backslash, and this combination we are using, that this slash and this quote, is known as escape sequence. If we talk about individually, this is escape character. If we talk about them, it is escape sequence, means two characters together. Now run it, it won't throw an error. Okay, right? Perfectly executed. Earlier it showed us an error when we were using this. Now it is not showing an error, and we can check its value as well. Print test. Is it fine? Please
Yes,
tell me.
sir.
All right, one more thing. Okay. Similarly, as is a escape character, there may be other problems as well. Let's come to that. Suppose this escape character can help in various scenarios. Suppose this is Python class. I'm again copying it. What I want here, that Python should be printed in same line and class should be printed in next line. Python should be printed in next this line, and whatever coming after this should be printed in next line. So you can use again escape sequence slash and n. You can put a escape sequence known as slash n. N means new line. N simply means new line. Run it, and we can check here itself. Print test. Run the cell. You will first of all see Python, and below that class. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think things are clear to everyone. Now move ahead. Okay. Now, again, very, very important thing. Indexing of strings. Okay. Indexing of strings. What do you mean by indexing? First, understand that Python is a zero index language. Python is a zero index language. Zero index means everything here. Suppose, what is a string actually? A string is nothing but a collection of characters. Right or wrong? It's a collection of characters. We are writing Python class or something. We can use numeric as well. It's not that it's only stores alphabets. No, anything which come under the quotes automatically becomes a string. For example, before doing that, let me show you one thing. Okay, let me take a variable a, and let me take a numeric digit 3 earlier. Okay, and let's put it inside the quotes. You can see the moment I put quotes, its color has turned to red, and red means it's a string. Red means it's a string. So let's run this cell and let's try to find out a, okay, plus 3. A plus 3. Okay, a plus 3. Let's run this. Did you see what happened now? What happened? It's saying can only concatenate string to string, not integer. Can concatenate actually this plus when I'm using any variable as a string. This plus convert into the concatenation. Concatenation means just appending at the back. Example, I'm using a variable A and its name is Python. I'm using a second variable is B and name is programming. Okay. So when I want to print, understand please properly, print A plus B. So what it does concatenation. It will take A, place here at the place of A, then it will take B and the place at the where B is. So I'm just concatenating them and running that. You can see is giving Python programming. So whatever you write after this operator will be appended here. This is known as concatenation, right? So it is trying to do A is a string as we have taken in the course. The moment A understand that A is a string, it understand A. Oh, A is a concatenation operator. So see here, 3. Oh, it's an integer. So their data types are different. One is integer and one is string. It cannot concatenate that. Throw me an error. So means even if the numeric digits are there, and you put quotes there, then it will become string. Is it okay? Remember that thing. Don't understand that it is a integer. Once the quotes are there, it will become a string. It will lose its numeric weightage. Is it fine? Right?
Yes.
So a string doesn't always mean we can have only alphabets. Any character it can have. Numeric, alphanumeric, anything. It's up to you. I can even store like this. See, I put one more here, C. And now this time it's a special character space like this. Because I put space inside the quotes, it has become a string now. Okay, so right now as these, now you can see in this program, Python and programming are sticking together. Let's press A plus C plus B, which is nothing but concatenation of all these three. Now I'll run it. Can you see the difference? So string can have anything, your alphabets, your numbers, your alphanumeric characters as well, or a special characters rather, we can say that. Is it fine? Everyone, please. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. Great. So now let's take a string. Let me do one thing. Instead of printing it, let me make a variable out of it. Let's make the variable, let's say variable is X for now. Okay. A plus C plus B. So let me check what is X. Okay. X is Python programming first of all. Great. Now see, I'm going to index it. What do you mean by indexing? Means this is nothing but a collection of characters, sometimes also known as a sequence. It is one of the types. Sometimes you will say sequence types. Somebody asks you, string is what? You can say string is a type of sequence in the Python. What do you mean by sequence? You will understand that thing. Okay. So it is what? It is nothing but a collection of characters. And here, the first character is stored at the index of 0. First character is stored at the index of 0, second at 1, third at 2, fourth at 3, and so on. Okay, so if I want to access any particular character from this string, if I want to access any particular character, I want to print it or I want to assign it to any other variable, any character also, I can do that. For example, I want to take a variable known as, let's say, try, tr1. Okay, and we're typing it to be try equals to X. What is X? X is nothing but Python programming. Let's put the square brackets. Whenever you are indexing strings, you have to put square brackets. And suppose I put 0 here. Okay, try is a keyword. See, it has turned to the green. Can you see that? The try word has been turned to the green. That means it is a special, it was a built-in function here. So remove that and put another name. Let's say Y. Let me put Y. No issue with that. Okay. And let's see, let's execute this statement. What do you think Y will be having? Anybody can tell me?
P.
Yes, T. It will be having T as a string. Okay, you can check it. Right? Similarly, any other element you want to access of X, just use here. Just use here. You can assign it, you can print it, anything you want to do. Suppose I want to print. I don't want to assign, I want to print. Okay. So suppose I put element number 2. So what will come? Anybody? What will be visible? Yes. 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, 2. So 2 will be printed. Okay. Now again, copying it again, pasting. Suppose I put here -1. I put -1 here. What do you mean by -1? Understand. If 0 is your first element, if 0 is your first element, -1 is your last element. Either you can go directly to the, if I want to go to the G, how I can go? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is a 17th index. Okay. So go to there. I can do one thing. You can copy it. You can go here. If I've counted correctly, I will just put 17 here and I should get G out of it. Is it fine? Right? Second way to go to the last element is the last element can be also indexed as -1, like this. And you can run backwards. This is -1. This is -2. This is -3. This is -4. This is -5. This is -6, and so on. Okay. If we want to check the second last element, so we have to type print -2. See, we get the end. Tell me, is it clear? How do we index the strings? How can we access NT? Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, the line number 41 has given us an output as a string, but other lines is
Actually, everything is a string. Here we are printing the value directly. Okay. If I'm going to use this way, see, if I remove the print out of here, if I remove the print, see here I haven't used the print statement. Remember? Here I haven't used the print statement. That's why these quotes are coming. If I remove the print statement from X2, it will also show in the quotes only. Don't worry. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. This is only thing, it is indicating just value and it is indicating with the corresponding data type as well. I hope it is clear, right? Now, so I think indexing is clear with everyone. How can we access individual element? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So now move further. Now string slicing. Everyone knows what you mean by slice. What is slice? A piece of something. Okay, a piece of something. So I'm using string slicing. Instead of accessing individual elements, now I want to access a group of elements. Okay. Instead of accessing single element of string, I want slice of string means a group of elements from the string. How we can do that? Understand. So I'm using the element. Suppose I'm using X again. Okay. Putting again same. And what is the way to get the slice of the string? Remember, there is a syntax start, index, colon, and index, colon, step size. Step size, and trust me, nothing is mandatory here. You will laugh it out. Nothing is mandatory here. Because few things it assumes automatically. Example. So how we will use X start, tell the start index, tell the end index, and tell me the step size in which you want. Step size means if you want continuously, just put 1 or leave it. automatically it takes the step size to be 1. It will give all the characters in sequence. If you put the step size to be 2, it will skip one character after another. Let me come to that. Okay, so I'm coming here. So I'm using X, and as I told you, understand. Start index. Suppose I put 0. I want to start from 0, and I need suppose 3 characters from beginning. Okay, 3 characters from the beginning. So can we tell me what can be the end index? I need 3 characters from the beginning. What should I write here?
2.
No. If you write 2, this is the thing. This is the catch here. An index is always your desired plus 1. Remember that. An index is always your desired plus 1. So how many you require? You require 3. So 0, 1, 2. Add 1. Add 1. That is 3.
3.
So it will give you 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So if you wish to put the step size, you can put the colon and you can put the step size of 1. But if you don't put it here, it automatically assumes that you are asking for a step size of 1. Okay. So let me run it. So it will give you 0, 1, 2. So let me, before this, let me print X so that we can see what X is having. X is having Python programming. Okay. So what characters we should get? We should get P, Y, and T, right? P, Y, and T. Learn it. Is it fine?
So that means it is print up to only 2.
Yes,
Index.
only up. Yes, whatever index you will put at the end, it will take 1 less than that.
Okay, sir.
Got it? Whatever you will put, it will take 1 less than that. Okay. Similarly, suppose I want this thorn, only this thorn. Can anybody tell me what should I write? I need this horn only. This horn. Tell me what should I write?
Three six.
Go to X.
3, 6.
Yeah, 0, 1, 2. Its starting index is 3. So beginning will be same. Ending will be 3, 4, 5. So you have to go 1 ahead. That is 6. Very good. Perfectly fine. Okay. Remember, space is also considered 1 index. Remember that thing, please. Space is also considered as 1 index. You can't leave it. Okay. I hope these things are clear. Now see. Suppose I put X. Okay. And I just put a colon here. I just put a colon here. Right. And here I put, let's say, 3. Let's say 3. So I didn't put a start index here. So when I didn't put a start index here, the Python automatically assumes to be start of the string. Automatically, it will assume that start of the string. Okay. So what will it will get? It is same as this line. This and this are exactly same. Let me run it. Fine. Similarly, same way, if I use starting index, any starting index I want, any starting index. For example, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From 7, I want. From 7, I want till end. So what I can do, I can put 7 and just colon. So if I don't put the end one, I repeat again, if I don't put the end index, it automatically assumes that we are asking for end of the string. We are asking for end of the string. So if you don't specify anything, it will take beginning and it will take end. Okay. So let me type this and run it. Can you see that?
Yes,
And
sir.
and now similarly, you can understand if I put only colon, what will happen?
Entire string.
Yes, entire string. I think the concept is crystal clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Right? Concept is crystal clear because we are not specifying starting index, it will take 0. And we are not specifying the end index, it will take last. So we run it, we'll get the entire string. Okay. Now let's move to the step size section. See, haven't been used anywhere with the step size. Now let us use the step size if needed. Okay. If you want in continuation, leave it a step size, but you want to skip something. For example, I want everything from the Python string. So I put a colon. So everything will be there. But I need alternate alphabets, like we want T, we want T, we want N, we want P. We want to skip one character after another. So remember, start index, colon, end index, colon. I put colon, right? After colon, we write our end index. Okay, so let us put, sorry, after the colon, we will put our step size. So I'm putting 2 here. I'm putting 2 because I want a step size of 2. By default, it will take a step size of 1, which means don't skip anything. But I'm putting 2, that means skip one thing and go to the next. Let's run it. Can you check, please? Please check. It is skipping one character after other. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, please.
Sir, I'm not getting output 51.
51? Why, beta? Why? What's the problem?
Sir,
Exactly check what you have put under the X. Is it same as this? Check character properly, please.
sir, above this.
No. I know you are not getting 51. That's what I'm saying. First of all, check your X is same as Python programming, what is written here. You must have taken some other string value, if I'm correct. And it might not have that character, means it might have a character lower than 7, if I'm correct. What character you have taken? What string you have taken? Can you tell me?
Sir, Python programming, sir.
Complete Python programming you have taken. Then it should run for sure. Please run once again.
Okay, sir.
Please run. It should run without any doubt. And tell me if it is not running. Okay. You can connect to me on WhatsApp. But if you face any issue, you can connect me on the WhatsApp. We'll try to solve that. Okay. If not, you are not getting. Okay? Is it clear? This one? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Similarly,
sir.
if you want to skip, I want to go 1, then skip 2 character and then go to the next character. Put 3 here. Just skip 2 characters now. Okay. Now, the very important things come into the picture. Now come here. Now come here. Okay. I'm putting here -4 colon -1. -4 colon -1. Remember what is -1? What is -1? In the end index I'm writing. No, -1 is the last character. -1 is the last character. And what is -4? How do we travel? -1, -2, -3, -4. So what will happen? Can you guess? Let me run it.
MING.
Now, G won't come. Remember, we always go 1 below it. Forgot? We were writing 3, so we are getting 2.
Yes, sir.
Right? So what is happening? If I skip this, then I'll get complete. What happened? Oh, sorry, I put minus here. That's my mistake. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if I skip this, it will take automatically. If I put -1, it will take 1 below that. Even another thing we can do. For example, I took -7 colon -2. -7 colon -2. So what is going to happen? You can yourself understand what is going to happen. From -7, where is -7? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So it will take from R, okay? And it is -2, -2 is this. So it will giving us Remy. It will be giving us Remy. Fine. Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now another thing. Suppose somebody asks you to reverse this string. Reverse this string. So how can we do that? See, put X here, colon, all the string I want. So I put a colon. I want a step size. If I want to reverse, just put a -1 here and see what happens now. Put a -1 here. -1 means move backwards, right? Let's see what happens now. Can you see what has just happened? It has completely reversed my string now. Completely reversed my string. So what it did, it took this as a first character, this as a second character, third character, fourth character, fifth character, sixth character, seventh. So when I'm putting -1, I will move backwards. I'm putting minus, whenever I'm putting minus at the step size, it will move backwards. I hope it is clear with everyone.
Sir, I have a
Yep.
little doubt.
Yeah, please.
Actually, when we do not give a start index, then it starts from 0.
Yeah.
And the step length means what step we give, it
Hmm.
starts after the execution of first element.
Pardon. Can you repeat what you said?
What step we give, that is 1 or -1. That
Here. Here.
yeah.
Actually, step size is basically what elements you want to traverse through. In your output, what elements you want to traverse through. Suppose step size means simply, if I am putting 1 there or -1 there, that means what? Simply means that don't skip any character. You have to move one character by one character. Don't skip anything. Okay. If I put 2 there, either +1 or minus +2 or -2, that means skip one character and move to the second character. Are you getting? For example, you are going to your home. Your home is a first floor, and they have several stairs from going from bottom to upside. One way is to put your feet on every stair. You're putting your feet on every stair. Your step size is 1. So you will encounter each and every step. Once whenever you are honey, so what happens? Normally we try to jump one stairs ahead. That's why I normally prefer. So I will put my feet on the first, then I will put my feet on third. I will not put my feet on second. I will then put a feet on fifth, not fourth. That is step size of 2. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir, that I understood.
Then?
But actually, when we do not give the start index, that
Yeah.
means it assumes that start index is 0.
Yes, exactly.
So it starts with P, no?
It starts with, you are confused with the 59.
Yes, sir, 59.
Actually, no, got it. Actually, till you don't put minus sign here. If I don't put a minus sign here, it is going to be same the what you are talking. Once you tell the minus sign, it understands I have to travel backwards. That's it.
Okay.
Once you put a minus sign, understand I have to travel backwards. I now hope now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so once you put that step size minus, it understand that I have to travel backward. Instead of -1, I can put -2 as well. Can you see that? Let me put first -1. Run this. I'll get opposite one. And same thing I should do, but now with a step size of 2. You will see that again opposite, but now 2 characters will be skipped. Means one character will be skipped. Same. I'm making it 2. Okay, let's run this. Can you see that? Again, starting from G only, but skipping N, giving you I. Skipping M, giving you M. Skipping A, giving you R. Skipping G, giving you O. Skipping R, giving you P. Got the point?
Yeah, that means if the minus step is given,
Yeah,
then
it will travel backwards.
yes, that means it automatically
Travels in the opposite direction. Yes. Okay. It will count as starting from. It will consider as that one to be first character, the last one. Accordingly, it will move out.
Okay, sir.
Hope it is clear with everyone.
Sir, can you please explain 54 line?
54. Sure. Actually, 54 line says that. Let me come here. Okay. When I'm putting X here and putting a colon, and not putting anything at the start index, not putting anything at the end index, which tells our Python interpreter that starting index will be your start index, ending index will be your end index. Okay. That's automatically understood. Once I put a colon here, when we put a colon here, when we want to manually supply a step size, when we want to manually supply a step size here, by default, this is this. If I don't put anything here, means I remove this. This is equivalent to this. Sorry, let me put a hash here so that you can. This is equivalent to this colon 1. Okay, so after second colon, you specify your step size. Remember, first of all, after second colon, you specify your step size, and by default, it is taken as 1. So if I don't specify as here, so it automatically understood that it is equivalent to this. Means automatically you mean this one. You don't need to specify that. But suppose I want to specify that. I want to specify a step size of 1. That not needed. I want to specify a step size of 2, or I want to specify a step size of 3. Then I have to put that thing here. For example, here we have put a 3. Let me put a 2 here. Let me put a 2 here. So you can see that what you will get from starting to end, you will skip one character. So you will get P, you will get T, you will get O, you will get space, and so on. Okay, let me run this. Sorry, some mistake. Oh, I put a equal sign here. Let me run this. Now you can check. We get a P, we get a T, we get a O, then we get a space, then we get R, then we get a G, then we get a, then we get this M, and then we get this N. Now hope it is clear.
Got it.
Okay. I think this is ample. I will advise you, everyone, please practice this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this file with you. Whatever I have done here. So I'm going to share this file with you. Is it fine? So that you can, people can see what is happening here, and you can try yourself. Okay. So let me download this as, let me trial, its name is trial as Python notebook. Yeah, let me save as a PDF. You want notebook, then I can share notebook. If you want to run your Python file, let me share as a notebook, no issue. What happened? Yeah, it has been downloaded. Okay. So let me open WhatsApp. Yeah, why people mute? You know, yeah, just a second. It is getting open. Hope you found the class meaningful as well today.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just advise, please practice. That is very important. Otherwise, you will forget. The programming is like this only. When somebody teaches you, it feels, oh, it's very easy, honestly speaking. And when the tasks are given to us, we found it alien. What is this thing? Right? So it should not happen. Let me get it. It's in the download section, I guess. Downloads, trial.ipynb. Okay. I've shared in the group. Fine. So it will be available. I'll advise, don't use it as it is. Just keep it as a reference and type everything by your own hand. Is it fine? Everyone? Yes. That is the way of learning. Okay. If I just type and you just read what is written, you are not going to learn. I like those people who want to do practice by themselves. Trust me, you will find it very easy. No problem with that. It will get uploaded. I think it's showing phone not connected or something, but it will done for sure. Okay. So I think I can stop for today. Is it fine?